Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Crypto Invest. Today we are going to talk about Bitcoin Cash, and then we are going to talk about some other coins such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and IOTA. And then we are going to talk about some of the news about a few exchanges like Coinbase, Ubit, and Bittrex. So let's get into it. As always, this is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as investment advice. So let's first talk about Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash, when I went to bed, it was around $2,200, and now it is sitting at $3,354 per coin. It was actually moving all the way from 2,200 to as high as $3,824 on Bitstamp. So it certainly has a major run today, and we are going to go over a few items about Bitcoin Cash. As many of you know, I have been talking about Bitcoin Cash over the last few weeks on this channel, but all the news now start to make sense to me. They either coincidence or it was a pretty highly coordinated move. So let me walk you through some of the news that leading up to today, where Bitcoin Cash had a major run and settled at around $3,300, and you can decide for yourself as to whether this is a coincidence or this is a highly coordinated move. So I will just start out with this piece of news about Bitcoin Cash, which is around almost a week ago now. The fact that blockchain.info, which is a pretty popular Bitcoin wallet, now added support for Bitcoin Cash, meaning you can store your Bitcoin Cash on the blockchain.info wallet. So that has seemed to be a pretty positive news for Bitcoin Cash as the THAM. And then followed by the fact that Bitcoin is now being adopted by BitPay. So BitPay now integrated Bitcoin Cash into their system. So if you're not familiar, BitPay is a system where when people pay with Bitcoin, for example, to a merchant, a lot of time it's actually being processed by a company called BitPay. So the merchant is not actually receiving Bitcoin, but they're actually receiving the local currencies, whether it is the Euro or the USD. So when you are swipe or pay with your Bitcoin, it is being converted by BitPay, and then BitPay will then liquidate your holdings and send the cash equivalent to the merchants. So the merchant actually get US dollar or the local currencies, not Bitcoin. And a lot of reason why a lot of merchants use BitPay, because of the fact that a lot of banks will not allow you to continue to use that bank if they know you are accepting Bitcoin directly as payment. So that's one of the challenges that the bank has, and BitPay is one of the very good solutions for that challenge, as well as the fact that a lot of merchants they do want to accept Bitcoin, but they don't want to deal with the fluctuation in the Bitcoin price. Therefore, they use BitPay. But now BitPay also allow users to use Bitcoin Cash as a payment method on top of Bitcoin. So this has been, of course, very major news in terms of adoption. And then after that, we did get some news about the fact that the CTO of Bitcoin.com, he basically making a public statement that he is denounced Bitcoin, and he is basically open about the fact that he is supporting Bitcoin Cash. He is switching from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Cash is basically fulfilling the true vision of Bitcoin. Now, I do want to say that that news is highly biased, because as many of you may have known, Bitcoin.com is run by Roger Ver. He is the CEO, and Bitcoin.com is publicly a big supporter of Bitcoin Cash. Therefore, it is not unusual for the CTO Emil Oldenburg of Bitcoin.com to come out publicly saying that he is a big supporter of Bitcoin Cash. So nothing surprising here, but it can be confusion to a lot of new users who not understanding the difference between Bitcoin.com, which is run by Roger Ver, which is a supporter of Bitcoin Cash, versus something Bitcoin or .org, which is run by Bitcoin Core team. So these two websites are run by two different group of people that support two different ideas. So just keep that in mind. One is very hardcore on the original Bitcoin version, or some may call them Bitcoin Core. And the other one is a strong supporter of Bitcoin Cash. So I want to make sure that you're aware of that. And then today we did receive some huge announcement. The fact that Coinbase has added Bitcoin Cash as an option. So they fully supported Bitcoin Cash. You can buy, you can hold, and you can sell Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase.com and the Coinbase mobile wallet at this moment. This, of course, is huge news for Bitcoin Cash. And I do believe that this is one of the main reasons why Bitcoin Cash price surged so much today, coming from $2,200 all the way to a high of $3,800 per one Bitcoin Cash. So that is like a 60-70% gains in just 24 hours. And this is the official statement for Bitcoin Cash support from Coinbase. So as of December 19, 2017, which is today, Coinbase will add Bitcoin Cash to our assets. Coinbase customer in qualifying countries will now be able to buy, sell, send, and receive Bitcoin Cash. I also want to say that this come earlier than expected. Coinbase did announce in the past that Bitcoin Cash will be available to those who have Bitcoin on their platform prior to the August hard fork for basically Bitcoin Cash, but that is gonna be early 2018. So today is December 19th, so it definitely came a little bit earlier than planned, and they actually do fully support Bitcoin Cash, not just allow people to withdraw, which was the original understanding. So this, of course, sent a really strong message to the market, and like I say, the price just skyrocketed because of this news. And as a matter of fact, Bitcoin Cash Sky has been steadily rising over the last few weeks, followed by a series of very good news, like I just explained to you about blockchain.info wallet, about BitPay, etc., etc. So there has been certainly good news after good news coming out from the Bitcoin Cash camp, and the price certainly made up for that. As you can see, that Bitcoin Cash is now sitting firmly at number 3 place. I mean, it has always been on number 3 for a long time, but it is actually really firmly on number 3 now because of the current market cap is at $59 billion US, and the next one down is a Ripple, number 4 at $29 billion. So Bitcoin Cash certainly sitting pretty firm as number 3 on coinmarketcap.com at the moment in terms of market cap. There was so much demand for Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase to the point where when Bitcoin Cash went live, a few minutes right after that, trading are halted on both Coinbase and GIAO because of the overwhelming demand for Bitcoin Cash, and this led to some really strange thing happening. Some people reported, including myself, seeing the price of Bitcoin Cash stuck at $8,499. This is not a real price, and from my knowledge, no one was able to trade when this price is presented on the network, because at this point all the trading was halted already. So a lot of things was happening because of strong demand for Bitcoin Cash on Coinbase. Everything now back to normal. As you can see that if you have Coinbase, you can see that Bitcoin Cash is now an option, and it is trading at this moment more or less around $3,200 per one Bitcoin Cash. This, of course, is a big win for Roger Ver as well as his team, and anyone who has been a believer in the projects, who has been hodling Bitcoin Cash for a long time. You are certainly well rewarded in terms of financials. As a matter of fact, tomorrow Roger Ver will be on CNBC Fast Morning to talk about Bitcoin Cash. So they're going to be even more attention to Bitcoin Cash, and my guess is there'll be even more capital flown into Bitcoin Cash after this. That's just my guess though. Take it for what it is. Switching over to Litecoin. Litecoin has been doing fairly well, keeping their head above $300 over the last few days. There has been time where it went below, but it was quickly pushed back up. So it seemed like the support are pretty strong as around $300 to $320 so far. We have to sit and see how Litecoin will handle the fact that it has a major run already. So I think it needs to slow down, which is basically doing right now, finding some support and decide as to whether they are moving up a little more or they are stepping down a little bit. As far as news, there are not a whole lot of news coming out from the Litecoin community over the last few days. Interestingly, Charlie Lee, which is the founder of Litecoin, who was the director of engineering for Coinbase, and then before that he was a engineer for Google. He has been accused of the fact that because he worked for Coinbase in the past, that he may have insider information about the fact that Bitcoin Cash will be available today on Coinbase, and he may have used that information for financial gains. And he certainly filed back. He's saying that he basically trying to sell Bitcoin Cash the moment it was available for him, and he tried to sell them on DİCH. So he certainly have no knowledge of that. So that's what's going on today with Charlie Lee's Twitter. Moving over to Ethereum. Ethereum now is basically keeping themselves at around, I would say, anywhere from $760 to $800, and it has been doing so the last couple of days. No really major news coming out from Ethereum front. Is taking a break, I would think, from these major run up at the moment. A lot of the attention now is certainly on Litecoin. A lot of the attention now is on Bitcoin Cash. Last week it was all about Ethereum and Litecoin. So if you're taking a look at Vitalik Twitter, so Vitalik is main focus now. You can see that intensely he is focusing on scaling Ethereum. He posted some posts today that scaling is a very difficult task for Ethereum, and not just for Ethereum but for a lot of cryptocurrencies, because in reality, even when you test the node, where he say that his parity node can run more than 500 transactions per second on his laptop, but on the Ethereum main net was able to only process 11.5 transactions. So a huge difference between what is shown on the testnet versus what is shown on the mainnet. And a lot of reason why he pointed out, mainly because there is a buffer in case there's a DDoS attack, and also there is a synchronization that needs to happen between the node and the backup. So therefore the transaction can never be processed as in the testnet. So therefore it's really difficult and challenging for Ethereum to scale, and for a lot of cryptocurrency as well. So scaling is pretty much in the front and center of his thinking at this moment. Moving on to IOTA, some positive news coming out today. Finally for IOTA, the last week or so, IOTA has been the center of a lot of debate and a lot of controversies about the fact that the news about Microsoft is misleading, etc., etc., and the price definitely taking a hit for that. But today, some good news coming out. Robert Bosch Venture Capital, also known as RBVC, they basically is buying IOTA tokens at the moment. They are a believer in the projects. They has made a strategic move to acquire IOTA token. This news has been verified by a few sources from both sides now. So I think people learn from the previous news about Microsoft that these news need to be more validated. From what I'm reading and all the information I received, this is not by any means a partnership. This is just means that they are a big investor and a big believer in the IOTA projects. Stepping over to see the IOTA and USD chart on Bitfinex, you will see that the price did shot up quite a bit on this news. So I would say the price was anywhere from $4 to $4.20, and it went at high at $5.80, and now it is settled at around $5.21 per one. My apology, per IOTA, which is not bad at this moment. Consider that the price has been taking a big hit the last week or so to as low as $3.24. So congratulations on those who has been holding on to IOTA and not sell when the coin was as low as $3.27, because it's since then pretty much recovered and is about to test its all-time high once again, which is around $5.80. I want to step over and talk about some news regarding to a few exchanges. First up is Bitfinex. So Bitfinex, as many of you have heard, a lot of people is aware of this particular issues that a lot of user has been locked up by Bitcoinex. Not Bitcoinex, Bittrex. Because of the fact that they are really slow in responding to your support ticket, and also they are really slow in verifying your identity. They published an announcement about 2 weeks ago on December 5th, explaining the situation where they have to comply with the Bank Secrecy Act in the US. They have to comply with any regulations that affect them, and they take that compliance very seriously. Therefore, they are working on answering support tickets, and they are trying to process as many of the account identity verification as possible. So if you are stuck with Bittrex, I think there's not much you can do at this moment besides wait if you have already sent them the support ticket. Moving on to Ubit. Ubit is a fairly small exchange. It is a Korean exchange, and we have heard the news that they, I have heard the news that they've been hacked. Yesterday and today there was some announcement that it looked like that hack does some damage to them. And based on this article from CoinDesk, they are going to bankruptcy procedures at this moment. So it looks like they are not going to be able to sustain themselves. At this moment, from my understanding, is that everyone will get to withdraw about 75% of the balance. At this moment, the remaining 25% will be held back until the court decides on the solution of the bankruptcy proceeding. So, very unfortunate news about Ubit. Moving on to Coinbase. So Coinbase certainly added Bitcoin Cash today. A lot of people were confused about the fact that Bitcoin Cash was the additional coin that Coinbase was hinting at adding. That is actually not entirely true. Bitcoin Cash has always been on the roadmap to be added to Coinbase, and Coinbase is looking to add more new currencies onto the platform starting 2018. I think what we have seen today with Bitcoin Cash really set a tone for the futures, right? Any coin that being added to Coinbase does receive a fair amount of attention. And in the case of Bitcoin Cash, the price did shot up quite a bit, which is kind of funny in many levels, because I think a lot of people was expecting that once Coinbase released the Bitcoin Cash that they was holding on since August, a lot of people will go ahead and sell that Bitcoin Cash. And that will lead to the price going down, but the opposite has happened. So very interesting on that sense. Although nobody knows which coin Coinbase will want to add, I talked a little bit about the THEO digital asset framework, which you can look for yourself. I will leave the link in the description below on some of the characteristics that they're looking for in any coins before they can be added to Coinbase and THEO. And this article, it's fairly interesting, from the tradingview.com, and they are talking about, based on the THEO framework, these are the coins that has a chance to be added on there, right? They talk about Ripple, Dash, IOTA, Qtum, Omisigo, Neo, Stratus, and Waves. And then some speculative, it can be Zcash, Lumen, EOS, etc. So these are the list of things that most likely been added based on this THEO digital framework. Of course, this is not the full list, and this person certainly did not go through every single coin, but this can give you a good idea of what what are the similar coin that can be added? Again, no one knows for sure. No one knows when they will add them, sometime in 2018, and no one knows which coin or how many coins will be added. So feel free to speculate, but for me, I'm going to stay away from speculation. I'm just going to continue to focus on the coins that are solid and fit my investment criteria. So moving on to another exchange, Bitfinex. This shows you that the demand for cryptocurrency trading is so huge right now. The fact that some users reported that you now need to have an invitation code to even join Bitfinex at the moment. I wouldn't know because Bitfinex is not allowing US residents to sign up for their service anymore. But if this is true that they basically need to provide you with an invitation code to even join their trading platform, it's quite significant. It's showing yet that the demand for exchanges for cryptocurrency is insane at this moment. Some other smaller news. A company in Japan, about 240 billion Japanese yen, is allowing their employee to be paid partially in cryptocurrencies, particularly in Bitcoin. So the employee can elect to receive up to 100,000 yen, which is about $890 US monthly in BTC if they choose to do so. Interesting piece of news. I'm not sure if people are actually going to take up on this particular offer, because I'm not quite sure how the fees gonna work. It's gonna be, the transaction cost gonna be high at this moment. I think I should check, and the transaction for Bitcoin went as high as $66 earlier today, and also is taking a lot longer to be paid. I mean, I'm sure it's faster than ACH, but it's still pretty slow, and the fees pretty high. So I'm not sure how this is gonna help adoption. Another news about storage. I'm not going to talk about storage in particular, but this one does bring up another point that I want to share with you all about the fact that when you participate in any token that has a huge amount of backlog being held by a company. So storage is one of them. You can certainly think of Ripple is another one, where Ripple have a huge supply of Ripple token that is currently being escrowed by the Ripple company in San Francisco, and they have huge amount of power in terms of what they can do with these tokens. Yes, in the case of Ripple, in the case of storage, they just pledge to be able to hold back a lot of these tokens and release them on a schedule. And in the case of storage, this article basically talks about the fact that some of the storage token was extended and not being released to the market for quite a bit longer. And in the case of Ripple, I think they are holding it back and release a portion of them on a monthly basis. However, you are at their mercy, and it's just something that it's not bad, it's not good. I'm sure the company doesn't want to release a lot of token into the market at the same time, and it basically diluted the price. But just want to be aware that that is an additional risk when you participate in tokens that have a huge inventory being manually held back by an entity. So that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, to get the latest news from this channel. Once again, thank you and have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.